It's Justin. Let me see here. My computer's a little bit dark. Forgive my bedhead, everybody. I need a haircut, but I can't go get a haircut. You know, because of coronavirus and stuff. Lately, I just made a playlist about coronavirus. So it was gathering a bunch of information that I've gathered over the last couple of days. We're going to talk about everything from the economic impacts of this to actual treatments that people are finding that have been quite successful. Erica, working from home, school closed for 2 weeks, just got my dry farm wine shipment, so I should be okay for at least 2 months. I have 9 bottles of dry farm wines in my house, and I haven't cracked any of them yet. I've been waiting to see what this is going to look like. Here's what I'm going to do with this video. I am fortunate enough to find myself in a position where I have a ridiculous network of people all around the world. And some of these people would be considered people in very, very, very high places, which allows me to get some information usually before the general public does. I have to be really careful with that. So what I have decided is this has now become serious enough where I am not going to like myself as a person if I don't share what I know with you guys. That's where I'm at on a personal level. So I've decided I'm just going to continue to share with you guys as things go forward. I'm going to give you all of the information that I currently have. That said, I'm going to give you the information I currently have without giving you the sources of where I got it from. I cannot do that. In my world, in my network, trust is everything. So refrain from asking me where these things came from. And I'm going to dig in. We're just going to dig in here. So let me pull up some Evernote stuff. Okay, so here's where I'm at. Let me just dig in here. I had some information given to me on Thursday afternoon that I was not comfortable sharing. I will share that information with you now, and again, without sources. So on Thursday, I spent the afternoon going around to my mom and stepdad's house, calling my dad, my brother, my sister, calling everybody and letting them know to get at least 2 weeks worth of food prepared for a nationwide lockdown, an imminent nationwide lockdown. And I 100% trusted the source of this information and started acting accordingly. So me personally, I have enough food in my house for probably a year. You know, I'm all good because of hunting and I know farmers around here. I get pasture-raised grass-fed beef. It's in a big freezer. I have a bunch of venison. I have pork. I have pigs that I've shot or whatever. So I'm good to go in my house. And I was uncomfortable sharing that information with anybody on Thursday. 1, because I was asked not to, besides my immediate family. And 2, because very shortly after I got this information, on Friday morning, the president announced that he was going to have a press conference that afternoon. In my mind, I was fairly certain that at 3 p.m. on Friday, you all were going to get the same information that I already had, which is why I refrained from putting it out there. I didn't want to be the alarmist. There's a lot of that going on. A lot of us that have these networks of people, I'm talking to people on multiple different continents about this. And you don't want to be the alarmist. You don't want to scare people, right? You really don't. But in the same sense, this is now serious enough that it makes sense for me to share this information with you guys. If I'm wrong, cool. If I'm wrong, that's totally cool. I'm totally cool with that. I've been wrong about things before. I like having my mind changed. So I just want you to know that I was told on Thursday that a nationwide lockdown is imminent. And now we are, so I inaccurately assumed that that's what the press conference was for on Friday. As you know, that was declared a state of emergency. It was not what I thought it was going to be. What has turned out to be true is I think that my sources were just very, very far ahead of the game. I now believe, and I am here to tell you, that there is going to be a nationwide lockdown of some type. I believe it's going to start on the coasts with Boston, New York City, and California. I think that Washington is also going to do the same. I think they're already taking steps to do that. And I think it's going to be a domino effect. Now, once we have a few states that fall into lockdown, that's when I think an announcement will be made that there's probably going to be a nationwide lockdown. I want to be very clear here. I could be wrong about this. Nobody knows except the people who actually have the power to make the lockdown happen. And even those people are still trying to make up their mind on what to do. This is a guessing game. I think it's very irresponsible that they haven't done it yet. It is very, very clear that containment has been basically the single most impactful thing that we've been able to do in other countries. So I don't know why we didn't jump on this thing sooner. I feel like we really should have. I have been pretty much self-contained since Thursday. I was supposed to play gigs this weekend, and I know that people that I know are going out and playing piano and singing in shared microphones, and the crowd is singing along. I cannot believe that people are not taking this more serious. So that's the information that I have right now. In terms of what a lockdown looks like, because I know a lot of people are going to ask me that, I don't exactly know. I would say look to places like Italy and France, where they have closed all non-essential businesses. What they have done that I really think is smart, and I think they'll do that here in the US as well, is grocery stores, pharmacies, gas stations, ATMs. Banks probably won't stay open, but I'm assuming that their drive-through ATMs will. I think that they need to keep these things open, because if they don't, there's going to be mass hysteria, okay? If they decide to close grocery stores, we got big problems. And I will explain that more to you in the end of this. I want to get to some other notes here and just explain what you guys can do for your families and stuff. John, I'm sleeping good because you taught us well. Nothing gets in the way of my sleep, not even a pandemic. Yeah, me too. It's weird. I'm waking up a lot earlier, and I'm tossing and turning a little bit more. Obviously, I have the pod tracking my sleep. I have my Oura ring tracking my sleep, and I'm tossing and turning a bit more. So yeah, I'd be lying if I said that this last week was not stressful. We stocked our very small freezer last Monday, thank God. Yes, people are not taking this seriously. They want school closed, but then everyone is still going out. Oh yeah, and that's the thing, is there's a lot going on around play dates. People are making play dates. I had someone ask me, they wanted to go over to their grandma's house, and I'm like, no, you know, and yeah. Oh yeah, Michelle, that was you and I talking about that, right? We were talking about your grandma, and no, I don't see a situation in which the risk versus reward makes any sense. People are not taking this seriously enough at all, you know? And it's a bummer, because you want to go see people. Like, what happens when a lockdown like this, if a lockdown happens, it's like, I want to go see my mom, and I want to go see Tommy and everything. That's probably a safe bet for me, because my mom and my stepdad live on my street, and I have been self-quarantining since, I mean, really, by accident since last Monday, because I work from home, you know? So is it bad for me to go visit my mom and stepdad? I don't think that it is. I feel wonderful. I have zero symptoms, but we're going to talk about symptoms versus the asymptomatic individuals. That's the stuff that I want to dig into. Yeah, you close the grocery stores, and that's when people start to lose their shit. 100%. Sam, I've been sleeping terribly. Last night after working in the ED, all I could do was dream about COVID stuff. I totally get it. This is very scary, you guys. It really is. So one thing that I want to say here is the reason why I say this is scary is because of the masses. Again, we are victims of the masses. We are at the mercy of the masses. That's what I've been saying since I did the AMA. What I want you to understand, I am still not afraid of COVID-19 personally for myself at all. Honestly, part of me is like, I wish I would just have it and just hang out in my house for the next 14 days. You know what I mean? It would almost be easier. There's also some insanity happening in the UK, where they're considering this idea of herd immunity, like purposely infecting 60% of their population in hopes that the other 40% will then not be infected, and they'll build up some kind of herd immunity. Wow, the world is literally going crazy here. That all sorts of stuff being suggested. But again, I really want you to understand that the only fear that I have here is the masses. What happens with the masses? How serious does the lockdown get? There are stories in Italy of people literally not being able to leave their homes because there will be legal consequences for leaving their homes. That could get really scary. I don't know that that's going to happen in the US. I do not know what a lockdown looks like. I cannot give you a 100% guarantee that a nationwide lockdown is happening. I can tell you that I have prepared myself for that scenario, and I have prepared my family for that scenario, because I believe that it will happen. So very, very important for you guys to understand. Okay. Now, I want to give you a scenario here in terms of the masses, of the reason why I say that we're victims of the masses. So everyone has run out and done this bulk buying thing, right? Which really does drive me crazy. You don't, another example of people just being selfish, right? The people that are going out running around saying, I'm not afraid of this thing, they're being selfish, because we're going to talk about how asymptomatic people with no symptoms, are probably responsible for the rapid spread of this thing. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the fact that people are hoarding things like medical supplies and alcohol wipes and disinfectant wipes and things like Purell and everything. Your family doesn't need 2 gallons of Purell, you asshole. You just don't, right? So there's a lot of those things that are really, really irritating. Sam, also, if you were tested positive, you'll most likely just get sent home unless you were actually ill. Not everyone needs to be tested. Yes, 100%. That is the thing. If you have the sniffles and you have a little headache, stay the fuck home, okay? Stay home. The only reason that you are going to be admitted to a hospital, even if you're showing symptoms, is if you are having serious respiratory issues in your lungs. If you have the sniffles and have a headache or whatever, they're not going to care at all, okay? Because this is the issue. The big scary thing of the masses is overrunning the hospitals. As you guys may have seen, there's a lot of posts about this. A lot of people on basically at ground zero of this thing saying, hey, we don't have beds. If we don't have beds and you were just in a car accident, you're in big trouble. If you need a surgery because you were in a car accident, you're in big trouble. This is the issue, is what's going to happen with this, the masses, is people get the sniffles and run to the emergency room. This is ridiculous, okay? So I want you to understand, I'm not trying to scare you. Again, for over 80+% of people, this is nothing. It's going to feel like a common cold. At worst, it's going to feel like you have the flu, right? Deal with it. We've all gotten flus. We've all gotten the cold, the common cold. It happens. Stay in your house, self-quarantine, deal with it. Because what happens? You were infected, you go to the hospital, you leave your house, you go somewhere, you possibly infect other people, you possibly take up a bed where they don't need it. What happens if we have 1,000 people that need ventilators in a hospital and that hospital has 7 ventilators? Well, what happens is what's happening in Italy, and they literally have to decide who lives and who dies. That's what's happening in the overrun hospitals. Guys, everyone is talking about not that many people are dying from this thing. If you're one of these people saying that this is just the media, shut the fuck up, okay? Stop it. Stop. Because it's not about the number of people that are dying. It's not about the number of people that are dying compared to the flu, compared to this, compared to that. We still need hospitals, everybody. Babies are being born every day. People are getting skull fractures. People are breaking their arms. The same shit that happens, people getting sick, people getting injured, people needing medical attention, none of that just stops because coronavirus has happened. There's still car accidents. There's still murders. There's still shootings. There's still all these things going on. There's still little kids falling off a swing set and breaking their arm, and they need a doctor too, right? So this is the issue. It's overrunning the hospitals. It's not the matter of like, oh, well, only 27 people died. Why are we all freaking out? Blah, blah, blah. It's the overrunning of the hospitals that's going to lead to massive, massive problems. I don't know why people don't understand this. It's ridiculous. Like, the medical systems across the globe are not set up for this. Yes, it's killed less people than the flu. The flu doesn't stop because now there's coronavirus. So these things are compounding everybody. It is compounding medical attention that people need, that overruns these hospitals completely and infects way more people. You have people that are in a car accident that go to the hospital, and now they're in the hospital and they're exposed to someone with COVID-19. Now they leave the hospital and they go home. Do you see how this works? I talked to you guys about exponential growth. I talked about this in a live video in one of the groups, so I'm going to share it here. The analogy of Yankee Stadium. This is how exponential growth works. If you are sitting on the top row of the top bleacher section in Yankee Stadium and you're handcuffed all by yourself, empty stadium, you're handcuffed. It's noon, it's 12 p.m. And at 12:01, somebody puts 1 drop of water on home plate at the bottom of the stadium. 1 drop. At 12:02, they put 2 drops. At 12:03, they put 4 drops. At 12:04, they put 8 drops. 12:05, they put 16 drops, right? This is exponential growth. How long do you have before you drown in Yankee Stadium? Before the water is over your head? Most guesses come in at hours or days. It's 45 minutes. You'd be underwater in 45 minutes. Remember, on minute 1, it's 1 drop of water, a single drop of water on home plate. Yankee Stadium's full in 45 minutes. This is how exponential growth happens, everybody. This is why when I taught you on the AMA podcast about the R naught number, that is exponential growth. Literally, the Yankee Stadium example is an R naught of 2. That's what it is. 1 drop becomes 2. 2 drops become 4. 4 drops become 8. 8 drops become, and it just goes on and on and on, right? It's literally the same exact analogy. That's how this thing spreads so quick. So I need you guys to understand that the hospitals still need to take care of all the people that don't have coronavirus.